Hey geeks, your friendly neighborhood Nate here, back again with another episode. We've been wanting to do video game reviews since we launched our channel, and with the recent release of Spider-Man on PS4, we thought what better time to swing in and give you our thoughts. But before we get there, Funko has also released a line of pops exclusively for this game, so without further ado, let's take a closer look.
It's crazy to think that just a few weeks ago, I was your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Now, there's a smash hit game, an awesome Funko line just for me. And they even included some of my friends. Just don't tell Miles my true identity. Wait, this guy got a pop and Aunt May didn't? Not cool, Funko. Not cool.
This is the Marvel Gamerverse Spider-Man series from Funko. These pops were released in 2018.
Uh-oh, better go check that out.
I don't know about you guys, but I want to go back and play more Spider-Man, so let's funbox these.
Now to free myself from this cage.
Man, that Spider-Man's always coming and going.
Yeah, he sure is a busy guy.
And now that he's gone, it's time to join my army.
Don't worry, Mary Jane. We'll be safe in these boxes Spidey built for us.
I wouldn't be so sure about that.
Uh-oh.
Better call Spider-Man.
Your precious Spider-Man can't save you now.
Dun-dun-dun-dun. Don't worry, I was just grabbing a slice around the corner. Always gotta rain on the party, don't you, Mr. Negative?
It's too late, Spider-Man. No one can stop me now. I'll get you for this.
You know what you can get me? A souvenir from jail. Phew, it's hot in there.
Wait a minute. Peter?
Attention all officers in the vicinity of Central Park. There's been a robbery reported.
Gotta go.
Go get him, Tiger.
And might as well try out this new suit while I'm at it.
With great power comes great responsibility, and Funko's done a wonderful job of selecting this core cast of characters. To see what we mean, let's take a look at our review, because as you know, it's all about the details. Insomniac's Spider-Man is one of my favorite games this year. In my roughly 25 hours of play, I've finished the story and am currently at 97% for game completion. For most games that I play, I rarely get that high of a completion rate, but for this one, I'm going for 100% and a platinum trophy. That's probably because this is some of the best traversal in combat I've experienced in recent years. When most games would have you cringing at the thought of traveling to the opposite side of the open world, swinging through the streets of New York is such a joy and is so rewarding that I barely use the fast travel system, sometimes delaying my next objective by up to 5 minutes. After a small learning curve, the controls in the game started to feel second nature sooner than I expected, and that made combat feel incredibly intuitive. Many have compared this game's combat to that of the Arkham series. While the similarities are still there, with the extra loud punching noise and slow motion strike effect, the fighting here feels fast and fluid, and with a consistently growing moveset, never feels stale. As for story, unlike previous Spider-Man games I've played, it's a slightly more realistic and thoughtful storyline this time around. While it has some goofy side missions and over-the-top villains, the dual storylines of both Spider-Man and Peter Parker are engaging and memorable. The pacing of the plotline feels more like a TV show than the recent movies, with heartfelt moments addressing the relationship between Peter and MJ, a headstrong, proud Aunt May, and an impressionable Miles. I found myself laughing, cheering, and even tearing up at these real moments. Which is really what Spider-Man has always been about, a character who has to balance his real life with his spectacular life. That being said, the puzzle and stealth missions implemented to service the main plot slowed down the pace of the game to a crawl, to the point where I actively noticed myself ignoring them until I had no choice but to complete them. And while they weren't terrible or unenjoyable by any means, they just weren't as fun as swinging around and taking out bad guys, which is the majority of the game. As for the side missions in completing the main plot, I would highly recommend that you pace yourself on the side missions, completing a few at a time between the main campaign, as a lot of those side missions will only unlock after you've completed at least 2 of the 3 acts in this fantastic storyline. Doing this will also unlock the various suits and web gadgets that are so much fun to use. With these gadgets that actually make sense when used together, like throwing a web bomb at enemies, then using a concussive blast to web 5 enemies to a wall at once, it's as fantastic as it is intuitive. Only thing with the suits is that you want to make sure you switch back to your default suit before diving into a campaign mission. Seeing some of those cutscenes while wearing some of the goofier suit options can really pull you out of what might be a meaningful moment. Enemies are just strong enough to present a challenge, especially in greater numbers. But I never felt like the game was unfair, or it wasn't my fault when I was defeated. Capped at both the beginning and the end of the main campaign are some boss battles that, while very visually impressive, gameplay-wise, they leave a little more to be desired, as they start to feel the same by the third or fourth time around. Insomniac Games delivers wholeheartedly on making me feel like Spider-Man, while also giving me a deep and enjoyable superhero story. And for that, we get what I would call a system seller. If you play games and don't have a PS4, this alone is a reason to get one.
I did.
I can't wait for the DLC, and am so excited for Insomniac to improve upon its first stellar outing. I give Spider-Man 9.5 web shots out of 10. Thanks so much for tuning in for today's episode. What did you think of the game? Would you download J. Jonah Jameson's podcast? Do you want to see more video game reviews? Sound off in the comments below. As always, we are Geekcentric, and you can be too. So be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you next week. Love ya. Hey, who do you think cleans up all those webs? Like, do you think there's just like some sort of like web cleaning guy that goes around, oh, I gotta clean all these webs again, stupid Spider-Man?